Hello everyone, my name is Trevor, I go by TheMrTrails, welcome to the channel. I wanted to do a couple of different things in today's video. One of those things is going to be taking a look at building with only the Timeweaver armor set, but before that we are going to be checking out the current status of the Dauntless roadmap. If you enjoy, consider leaving a like on the video, and if you enjoyed Dauntless and are not subscribed already, consider subscribing to the channel. I post Dauntless content here every week. So one of the things I'm going to address here is the Hunting Grounds portals. They say here that lately we've been thinking with portals, specifically gateways to instance encounters. Find a portal in the Hunting Grounds, maybe it goes to a Keystone Behemoth, Loot Cave, or something else entirely. So what this sort of tells me is that what they're intending for portals to be is something that's dynamic, that's changing, that isn't the same every single time you step into it. And if I'm interpreting that correctly, then I'm 100% on board with how these have been delayed. Patrols were the last thing that had some sort of randomness when it came to hunt encounters, and having something in the game that won't be the exact same thing every single time you jump into it, I think is going to be something that's pretty healthy if this is what they're intending to do. Alright, and you can see here in the testing phase we have Heroic Escalation, Omnicells, and Thunderdeep Drask. I would say that Heroic Escalation and Omnicells are pretty likely to launch in 1.7.0, but if I had to guess, I would say that Thunderdeep Drask probably isn't 1.7.0 material, might be 1.7.1 or 1.7.2, because we haven't tested it, being partners or play testers. We haven't really tested Thunderdeep Drask yet. But new to the roadmap, because of how they have been working on Thunderdeep Drask, we have just general Shock Behemoth improvements on here, and since this came in just yesterday onto the roadmap, that's why it's probably more likely, I would say 1.6.2, they might launch Thunderdeep Drask with some of these fixes. So we should really take this opportunity to try and get Nezaga, Stormclaw, and Drask as fixed as possible. So if you know of any bugs whatsoever that might be affecting them, drop it in the Reddit thread on the 1.6.5 bugs, like they say, or you can drop it through the in-game report a bug system. I already dropped a few of these down here. And the other main thing we have in the concept area here is the repeater refresh, which means we would probably be seeing this maybe 1.6.3 or later. So the main things that they want to do to repeaters is demodularize, meaning they will make them craftable like every other weapon in the game, and then they want to make sure that each mod, grip, and chamber is valuable and has some sort of gameplay boost that is worth running, as well as camera improvements. Everybody has been saying for the longest time repeaters have terrible FOV. One thing I would like of this is maybe the option to even go first person on repeaters. Like, I feel like that would be pretty cool. But I feel like the main thing that they would be trying to fix here is that sometimes the camera gets obstructed by grass or things like that when you have your camera distance and FOV zoomed out too far. So maybe to try to make it more like a true third person shooting rather than like a 2.5 person shooting like we have right now. So the other things they have listed in production here, the Heroes of Ostia season, like all of these things right here are projected to be 1.7 series of patches, like the Ostia Hunting Grounds, the new Behemoth and stuff like that. If I had to put a guess as to what their current timeline would be, I would probably say it's probably Heroic Escalation Omnicells 1.7.0, Thunderdeep Drask probably 1.7.2, Ostia Hunting Grounds 1.7.2, New Behemoth and Repeater Refresh probably 1.7.3. And they don't really have any sort of timeline set right now on when portals are going to be implemented in the game. I would hope that it comes sometime in the 1.7 series of patches, because something that has like a large amount of replay value, being something in the Hunting Grounds that brings you to something that is different each time, I think would be very good for the game. But that is going to about do it for the roadmap portion of this video. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the Timeweave armor set only builds. So I had a lot of people yesterday over on twitch.tv/TheMrTrails ask me about, you know, what build do I run with the Timeweave armor set? And while these are very, very playable builds to run with the entire armor set, you're not going to do it all of the time. One of the main reasons you might be incentivized to run a Timeweave armor set only build is if you're going to run into, say, Hades Reach, Razorcliff Isle, Paradox Breaks, places you know that there aren't going to be any Umbral Behemoths whatsoever. I did say in the video on this patch that this is the best armor set ever, but that doesn't mean it's always necessarily going to translate to the best build ever. Like, you're never going to run this in an Umbral escalation. So I do sort of have two different build styles for you guys today. We have this full HP build here that will be relevant still after the Omnicells come out, and then we have this sort of half HP build right here, which there will need to be some tuning to this build when Omnicells come out, because there have been some developments in the changes suggested for Omnicells, and that currently puts it so that Discipline doesn't even actually put you at half HP. But you can see here that we can actually get the exact same perk summary that I had in my favorite build not too long ago. It was 6 Berserker, 6 Catalyst, 6 Overpower, 6 Predator, 6 Rage, 3 Discipline, 3 Wild Frenzy. But building it this way actually has an advantage over the build that I posted in the other video, and that's that you have the Rage in a prismatic slot, meaning you can swap this 3 Rage to pretty much whatever you want. So this is the sort of build I would suggest taking if you were planning on running an Umbral weapon already. But then we have our full HP version, which honestly, our full HP builds haven't been all that bad since the nerf to the Blitz Tonic for half HP builds, but the buff to it for full HP builds. So let's break down our half HP build here first. You know, the reason you would be running this sort of build is if you are guaranteed not to run into an Umbral Behemoth at all. So an Umbral weapon makes sense. We're going to be running Berserker and Rage inside. Bond it to the Rift Stalker if you are running the Umbral weapons. And then, of course, we are going to be running the entire Timeweave armor set, Timeweave helm with Predator inside, Timeweave robes with Rage inside, Timeweave gauntlets with Berserker inside, and the Timeweave leggings with Discipline inside. And then it's going to be your choice of lantern inside. If you're going to be rocking an all Timeweave armor set, you're going to have at least Catalyst 3, so you might as well make it Catalyst 6. So for a full HP build, you're going to be pretty much running whatever weapon element you want, except, you know, the Umbral weapons, they kind of clash with having a full HP build at the moment. My example build here, I'm going to be using a Terra weapon. We're going to be running Cunning, Conduit, and we're going to be bonding it with the Skarn weapon. Then, of course, you're going to be rocking the Timeweave armor set, Timeweave helm with Predator, the Timeweave robes with Tenacious, the Timeweave gauntlets with Cunning, the Timeweave leggings with Tenacious. Then, as I said before, since the Timeweave leggings you're already running 3 Catalyst, you might as well run Catalyst if you are going to be running the Timeweave armor set, your choice of lantern, whatever that be. I'm going to go ahead and run a few clips of these builds doing some work. Again, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, and if you enjoyed Dauntless, aren't subscribed already, consider subscribing to the channel. I post Dauntless content every week. I've been Trevor, I go by the Mr. Trails, catch you guys next time.